Hello, my wonderful friends. Welcome back. This is week 2/day 2 of the Jam House videos. I got almost no footage for day 2, so I'm going to show you just a little bit that I did, and then we're going to jump straight into a vocal production tutorial for our incredible, amazing slam band, Phlebotomy. So, enjoy.
Oh, yeah. When I want to have like a really fat low note, I'll do like a...
Dude, it really is a challenge getting the whole thing in. It's like also, that's what she said.
But you're doing this way more interesting. I mean, it's just a little bit of... I think we're all doing something interesting, so...
Two bros sitting in an amphitheater 20 feet apart because they're not gay. So this is our chant. We just got a whole bunch of folks from Jam House into a room and had them chant the name. And the trick is you do one track kind of in your normal scream or whatever for gang chants. Then you do a second track where you say specifically, do it very differently than the way you just did. So if you're normally going, "Wah!" then on the next one you'd go, "Bah!" Super goofy on its own, but when you put it into a full mix, it really fills out and sounds like a bunch of different voices. Here is without any processing. Also, it sounds a little bit weird because we are changing the rate here. We're speeding it up for this song because we actually did this chant for a different song. So the processing that I'm doing is FET compressor and opto compressor. So it's basically a small part of my vocal production settings, I guess. So we have the FET compressor to catch the big peaks and then the opto compressor to do sort of a general glue type of a thing. So here is without any compressors, and here's with. Yeah. Big pans on 2 of the tracks, sort of pans on 2 of the tracks, and then one track going straight up the center. From there, we do some bus compression. Never mind. There's no bus compression. This is pretty chill, actually. So we're cutting out the sub junk that's not going to do anything for anybody, getting rid of a little bit of the sort of frequency, and then boosting our highs a whole bunch. I think that is because we also tracked this on an SM7B, which absolutely hates being any amount of distance from the thing it's trying to record. So here is before EQ, and here's after. So there you go. That's our chant. So next, we're going to do this little choir thing. I did some shifting stuff so that I could sing higher than I was able to sing at the time. And then I just have some automatic pitch correction, just the built-in Reaper thing. So here is... Here's without...
Lorna Shore! Lorna Shore! Will Ramos!
Here is with our pitch correction and then also some of the shifting stuff.
Lorna Shore! Lorna Shore! Will Ramos!
Dude, I can't. Oh my god. So from there we do a little bit of bus processing, doing the same thing as before, boosting up the high end a bunch, and then this is just getting rid of a bunch of that kind of honk mud junk. Here is before.
Lorna Shore!
And here's after.
Lorna Shore! Lorna Shore!
From there, VCA compressor to just do some very slow general bus compressing stuff to kind of level everything out. So here's before that compressor.
Lorna Shore! Lorna Shore!
And here's after.
Lorna Shore! Lorna Shore!
Just a little bit. Nothing super wild. Also doing a little bit of drive just because why not? Yeah, and we're cutting out the super low end on the detection. It's not using the sub frequencies to decide when to compress. From there, feeding it into a reverb, mix at about 50%. So here's before reverb.
Lorna Shore! Lorna Shore! Will Ramos, Will Ramos.
And here's after.
Lorna Shore, Lorna Shore. Will Ramos, Will Ramos.
That's it for that. So all of our production elements together.
Lorna Shore, Lorna Shore. Will Ramos, Will Ramos. Lorna Shore, Lorna Shore. Will Ramos, Will Ramos.
It looks like I actually messed up the alignment on just this one. So that's good. That's a whoopsie daisy. But it's a slam EP. You know what? We're going to just keep going with that. So here's some samples. This first one is from Forrest Gump.
Congratulations. How do you feel? I gotta pay.
So that's JFK saying, congratulations, how do you feel? And Tom Hanks saying, I gotta pee.
Congratulations. How do you feel? I gotta pay.
So let's move on to vocals. Okay. So this is pretty chill. Trying to remember who did vocals on this one. I think it's mostly Austin, Johnny, and myself. Kind of, I guess, check out the tracks on their own. So here's Johnny. Oh, there you go. There's Sunfire. What else? So that's funny. You can actually hear the room reverb that we tracked in, because we tracked in this, like, it was like marble floors or something. So the reverb in the room was like overpowering. The rule was no actual words except for in call outs. Let's see what else we got here. I think this might be me. Yep. Honestly, what this really proves is that you can do terrible sounding vocals, and if you process them correctly, they'll sound terrible in a good way that you want them to, I guess. I think this is a section where we had lyrics. I believe this is hot dogs and hot dogs and hot dogs. Yep. The point, I think, is pretty much made here. So let's jump in and do a little bit of vocal processing. So we started out with FabFilter's Pro DS. Let me see if I can find a spot with some S's. Okay, that's perfect. The first thing we're doing is just de-essing the heck out of the signal. Actually, you know what? Hold on. One of the big things is we were using a UA Vault 276, but the 76 is the important part. So it has an FET compressor built in. So we purposefully were slamming the input gain, which I'm currently doing. I'm using a Vault 476 to record this, and I can actually, I guess, just show you what happened. If you move the gain far enough, you start getting some saturation from the FET compressor. So you get something like this. You can hear it starts to really get nice and saturated. So not only were we using it for the saturation, but also for the built-in compression. So if I turn that off, then it sounds like this. And if we clip it, it sounds like crappy clipping instead of clipping like this, which gives us some nice it sounds better, I think. We are starting this off going into a compressor with fast attack and release. From there, we're going into a de-esser. A little 400-ish hertz dip, a little 9K-ish dip. This is just a thing that I find happens on most vocals, and especially on SM7s. Kind of that 400-ish range is just a little bit more than you would like it to be, and it gives you kind of this like sounding vocals. So here's before. And here's after. Let's see maybe if there's a different spot.
What the f*** is that bitch?
That's a good example. This is our guest spot from Matt Honeycutt, which is actually Austin doing a Matt Honeycutt impression, but you can really hear that low mid spike. So here's without.
What the f*** is that bitch, Honeycutt?
And then here's with.
What the f*** is that bitch?
Just kind of cleans up that roar. From there, we are doing what we've done for the rest of this whole thing, which is using Soft Tube's FET Compressor Mark II. This is probably my favorite compressor plugin that exists, I think. And we're using it to catch the big peaks, even though technically we already did that with the compression on the way in, but don't at me. The fastest possible attack and release, we're doing a good amount of drive, so we're adding even more transformer and FET saturation. Let's see what kind of gain reduction we're getting here. Yeah, so about -10. So here is without a compressor. And here's with. Keep it all moving on. We go into our opto. After that, you know the drill. Quickest release, which is still a super slow release because it's an opto compressor. It gives us a little bit more glue, and we're adding even more drive still. So here's without. And here's with. From there, tape saturation, just even more distortion. So here's without. And here's with. To top it all off, Side Widener 2 serves to push the vocals out of just the center channel to kind of make them bigger, kind of larger than life sort of deal. So here is without any widening. And here's with. That being said, these other vocal tracks are the exact same. I did not change any of the processing there. Our final before bus processing sounds like this.
What the f*** is that bitch?
Let's get to vocal bus processing now. So we start out with just a little bit of chill EQing, taking out the sub rumble stuff that's not going to get used, and taking out the super high end, clearing out some of that mid stuff again. From there, we go into the VCA compressor, a nice slow attack and a quick release. Again, to glue everything together, really clamping down as much as we can, and we're adding even more drive. So here's without. And here is with. Not only is it kind of gluing everything together, but also because of that slow attack, it's kind of adding a transient to the beginning, making it sound like it's hitting you a little harder. Just gives you that little extra over compressed. From there, we're running into Pro MB, pinning everything as much as possible. This is upward compression, so if we're doing high screams, it kind of adds some of the low back in. So here's without. And here's with. It looks like I could have backed off on the threshold. Yeah, it definitely should have, but so now we've got Soothe, cleaning up really pokey frequencies, which is standard. I should have changed these settings a lot, and it looks like I pretty much didn't. Should have turned the link off, and I should have changed my resolution and my oversample to higher quality settings, but I didn't. So, whoopsies. Here is without. And here's with. From there, we run into FabFilter's Pro L2 for about 60 dB of gain reduction. We're just trying to make this as loud as humanly possible with absolutely zero dynamics, and then we can add in whatever dynamics we want with automation later. From there, saturating yet again 100% drive on warm tube on FabFilter's Saturn II, mix at about 70%, so we still have undistorted stuff in there, but it's pretty loud before our final saturation. And then here is with. Let's jump to another spot just for the sake of it. So here is before our vocal processing. And here's with. There's a lot of junky voice coming through on that channel. Which I would typically get rid of. Or just do again, more likely. But it's a slam EP. I'm going to keep saying it. It's going to keep being true. From there, reverb send, Fab Filters Pro R2, 100% mix, 1.6-ish seconds, and it sounds like this. That's really it there. That's the whole thing. So with our vocals and everything put together, that's it.